Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I wanted to go over one of the most popular coding challenges out there. It's called the FizzBuzz Function, and it pretty much wants you to create a function that will count in your console from 1 to 100. So just say 1 through 100 down here, and every time it runs into a number that is divisible by 3, like 3, 6, 9, it wants you to replace that number with the word fizz. And every time there's a number that's divisible by 5, like 5, 10, 15, replace it with buzz. And then anything divisible by 15, it wants you to print out FizzBuzz instead in its place, okay? So I'm going to start off by defining the function. So define FizzBuzz, I don't know if, and of course you can name this however you like. And it's going to bring in some numbers. I'll say nums, and I'm just going to test this out really, just to make sure I have access to the function. So hello world. And then I'm going to now call that function FizzBuzz, and okay, so that's working just fine. So what I want to give this is my nums. So my numbers, I'll say nums, and I'll assign it a range. Okay. And I want it from 1 to 100. Now, naturally, we might want to just do 1 through 100. Range is a function. It'll take those two parameters. So it has a start and a stop. So let's just test that out and see what it gives us. So I want to send it nums, and I want it to print nums. Okay. All right. So has that, but we want it to print out. The way we can do that is doing a for loop. So for each num or number in nums, I want you to print that single number. So I'll get rid of that. There we go. So it has 1, and I just want to make sure it goes to 100. It does not. So this is a one-off error. It's pretty common, so you just got to be careful with that. Just remember our indexes start with 0, so we want to give it 1 extra index. Now I'll run it. Now it goes to 100, and yes, it goes all the way to 1. Perfect. So that's working good so far. So now I can start setting up some conditionals. So let's say if num is divisible by 5, and the way you can do that is you'll take that single number. So let's say 5 is divisible by 5, and make it double equals to 0. And I'll explain a little bit more of what that means. Then I want you to print, for this one, they wanted buzz for 5. Yeah. So let's run that. There's all the buzzes, and I just want to make sure that it's not just saying buzz. I want to make sure it's actually printing out for just all the 5s. So else, if it doesn't meet that condition, then just print simply that single number. So now run it. There we go. Cool. So there's 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's working just fine so far. Now, what I was doing up here is this is called a modulo, and it pretty much just takes the number on the left side and it divides it by the number on the right side. And instead of giving you the answer of that number divided by that number, it gives you the remainder. So if this was 10 modulo 3, it would give me 1, because 10 divided by 3 has a remainder of 1. Okay, so here I'm saying if it runs into 5, so let's say that this is 5 right now, modulo 5, well, there's no remainder because it just equals 0. So if this number is divisible by 5, then I want you to run this code. Otherwise, print that number. So that's pretty much what we're doing. Cool, so that's working just fine. So now let's do 3. So elif num, now let's do it the same way, is divisible by 3. Then I want you to print fizz. Okay, and let's see if that runs. Clear my console. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, there's fizz. 4, 5, there's buzz, fizz, buzz. Cool, so that's working just fine. Now I got to do 15. So let's do an elif. If the number is now divisible by 15, then I want you to print FizzBuzz. Okay, let's clear the console, run that again. Okay, and as you can see, that didn't work, and let's see why. So we have, so if I look for 15, here's 15, it says buzz, okay? And I want to kind of look at my code as if I were the computer. The computer's going to read my code from left to right, top to bottom. So when I see this first conditional, it says, if there's a number that's divisible by 5, then make it buzz. Well, 15 is divisible by 5. And since it found this statement that it was true, well, it's going to skip everything else in here, and it's going to keep going with the loop. So it's never going to see this conditional. So what you can do is we can actually switch these so that it reads 15 first. So I'll highlight this, and if you hold Alt or Option up, you can just move that entire code up here. So now this will be an if statement. This will be an elif. Okay, and I think that all looks right. Oh, let me clear my console, hit run. Okay, let's see if that worked. Cool. So we have fizz for 3, which is right. Then we have buzz for divisible by 5. And then here's our 15 for fizz buzz. Here's 30, 45. Awesome. So that's all working fine. So that is the solution, at least my solution. There's lots of different ways you can do this. But that's how you do in Python. If you have any questions, or if there's any coding challenges you like to see, or any functions you'd like to see how to do, just let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to make another video for you guys. Thank you so much.